Hi friends, my name is Borradante, and welcome back to SCP-049. So here we are, back to our doctor. I read all of the comments that you friends wrote, and there is a bunch of ideas. Also, I was asking about what if we maybe make a different composition with this SCP actually inside of the lab, because that would feel a bit more like the atmosphere of SCP, you know? Some of you agreed, some of you said that it's a good idea to, bring one of them outside just for the variety, because we had a lot of them inside of the lab. I mean, I don't think that's a problem that many of them are in the lab, because all the labs are different, and after all, that's exactly the thing that makes SCP, being inside of that secret lab that is something classified that you're not supposed to see, you know? So, I think that would be pretty cool, but I just looked at the picture recently and I thought that we probably can make it work pretty well, the way it is. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So, let's work with this, I think. For now, but I think all the future SCPs will be in the lab. So anyway, number one thing that most people pointed out is that the geometry of the legs of this guy is very wrong. As in, the ground goes like this, and the dude's legs are on this kind of plane. And it's obvious that his legs are actually on the ground because there's shadow, so it looks like his legs become really huge and long as they go further away. So yeah, let's fix that. Let's increase the foreshortening. Also, someone said we should say free Wi-Fi here. Why am I writing this? This is definitely not gonna work this way. So free Wi-Fi is a thing for a British park. Position people better, maybe tone it down on these close-up trees even more, because right now they're still too massive. It doesn't look very good. Also, more than one person said that it would be a good idea to add some city buildings from behind the trees like this. Probably a good idea, let's do that, why not? One thing that I noticed is that the geometry of the top part of SCP is kinda weird. Meaning, if the horizon is somewhere around there, then the shoulders should be more like this a bit, and the head should probably be seen from the bottom. Although that's not necessary, he can rotate his head however he wants. So we'll see about that, especially the head part, because, it just works better for the mysterious look when the head is kind of covering the forehead a bit. Okay, so let's start fixing everything. I find it so much more satisfying lately to paint with a flat brush again. I guess it's that time of the year. I remember exactly 1 year ago I was painting a lot with a flat brush as well. But it just feels so nice, like, flat brush requires you to position it in a certain angle to create a certain shape. And if you go through that hustle, you actually end up getting the shape you need faster, because it allows you to create a more specific thing than just a cylinder, But for that, since you have to change the angles and everything, it makes you, slow down a bit and, think about the stroke specifically. And if you remember, that's one of the things that I always was talking about before, that to be fast, you actually have to be slow. And this brush kind of makes you think through every stroke and make a right decision every time. So you would have smaller amount of decisions, therefore you would actually end up with a finalized image faster, because you don't have to fix anything. Let's put this guy a bit closer. No, there actually shouldn't be too many of them, right? Because how does it go in the description? He puts one of the guys to sleep and then kills all the other ones around so they wouldn't stay in the way of the procedure. So, we should add a lot of dead people, but very little zombies. You know what? It actually would make a lot more sense, it would feel a bit more ominous and closer to the nature of SCP if actually everyone around would actually lay dead. I think that would look a lot more cool. Never thought I would say that, but... and everyone's dead, that would be cool. But yeah, I think let's actually go for it, because, SCP doesn't really go for creating an army of zombies. He just, whenever he stumbles upon someone. So basically right now what we have is Doctor stumbled upon one person, put them to sleep, then killed everyone around, and then started the procedure. So that's what's going on right now. Let's work with that. So yeah, let's see. Let's think on this road, this street. And what about the dude? He now kind of has a bit smaller legs, but are they any good? I don't think they are. So let's think on that area. So some people said that the mask is ceramics and is probably white, and it's white in the picture in the article. So I guess we should make it white, right? Even though it's not exactly authentic for a doctor of that time to wear a ceramic mask. I think the comp looks much nicer when there's no too much of massive dark bushes around. A lot more space to breathe now. Okay, so now we really need to work on the dead guy, I think. Like on the main characters. Let's put the dead guy a bit more to the left. I freed up some space here. There was some mess in here, now it's clean grass. So we can put the guy a bit to the left. And I think that'll look a bit more readable, sort of. Whoa, I didn't think I would be able to do it. But it's actually not that bad at all. I'm okay with this mess right now that I did, and I'm fixing it right now. Because there's no actual, like, finalized silhouettes I have anywhere. And right now I'm fixing it with a really quick mess. And it's only welcome right now. I like mess like that because it allows you to not think about details and think about just what you'll actually get as a shape. Yeah, kinda looks cooler with the white mask and red eye, right? Also, I just thought, yeah, I mean, it's weird that he has that ceramic mask, but it's also weird that his eyes are actually human-like and alive, I guess. So I guess it's okay if it's ceramics. It's not really ceramics, I mean, same as it's not really leather he's wearing, it's just his body. Okay, time to shut up and work in hardcore mode. So, let's do that. So also remember, someone suggested to put the "Don't Walk on Grass" sign, as this is probably a lot more British thing than some Wi-Fi. So let's probably do that. I like it more because it's like charismatic, you know? So, something like this for now. Let's maybe mark in some dead guys all over the place. Basically the same spots we had before, but laying down instead of standing. Okay, something like this, just to not forget about it. The main corpse really needs a lot of work, a lot of fixing, because right now it's really messed up so far. Some blood on the hand. Yo, hi. I was about to finish that episode back then, but now, almost a month later, I decided to record a little bit of a continuation, because that was total crap. It's super late, I don't even know why I'm recording right now. I have like half an hour left before I go to bed. But I wanna completely rearrange all the composition, and like maybe even change the proportions of the image. I think it should be taller. I think a lot of things should be different. The problem with that is that I started painting it trying to create that feeling of a lab of SCP, yet painting it completely outside of the lab. So there was no point in trying to push that kind of documentary feeling if we're painting the way I paint, which is not a hyper-realism. Therefore, it's still not gonna look like a documentary photo, so we should present this character in a lot more of an artistic, expressive way, with a lot stronger mood, the way we always do, but better. Because, why try then? So, I have a little bit of time right now, I'll reposition things. Maybe we'll end episode there, because this is gonna be a lot of content anyway for one video. But I just really didn't want to end it there, because it was like nothing. I don't know, I was in a dead end there. So, yeah. I'll probably shut up for a little while and make a lot of changes and then just talk about what I was thinking about. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I feel like I wanna mess up everything. The composition and everything. So probably the best way to go about this is to blur what we have right now in order to be able to change all the angles of all the details. We still need our doctor in the middle of the composition. We'll probably move the corpse in the middle. Like, I'm going for a bit of a symmetrical composition, so it will look kind of like epic and really terrifying in a way, I suppose. I hope. I don't know. But I kind of like see the image of really terrifying look. It's gonna be pretty cool if we pull it off right. So, let's give it a go. Oh yes, finally found a cool shape for his head. I think it looks really cool this way. Yeah, this one is boring and fat. And this one is really cool. Also, I decided to go with the hood, because a lot of people told me like, hey Bora, there's a hood in a picture in the article, and way too many people told me that I just did SCP-17 something wrong, the one that snaps your head when you're not looking at it. Recently, like, exploded somewhere in the video with that one, and people just kept coming and repeating the same comment over and over again. Everyone just comes in and says, that's not the way it's supposed to look. And I got really tired of answering that, like, I don't know. And in the end, I just thought to myself, if I want to paint something for myself, like my own idea, I would just paint something of my own. But we're painting SCP here, and there is a community about it, and SCP is nothing without the community. So basically, if community decided that the picture is a part of an article, it shows what the SCP looks like, we should follow that. Otherwise, it's not SCP, it's just an plague doctor. So yeah, we're going with the hood. There's not a lot to see in the article in the first place, just the basic mask in the hood. Everything else we're free to improvise with, which is something I did here with his red thing. I changed it quite a lot. We'll see, there will be more changes to the look. I want him to look more dramatic and like this. I don't know how to even describe this kind of style comparing to this. Here, he looks super casual comparing to this. This guy is, you know, dressed to kill. And just the pose and the way he feels like a lot longer. I zoomed out and stretched him vertically so many times. So yeah, I think the pose and the composition in general is pretty good right now. Obviously, it's just the start. We need to turn this turd into a dead body here and think on the background. But I don't think we should do a very casual look of just a park like that. It should look dynamic and mystified as well. Maybe a lot of fog, a very dramatic lighting from a very tiny spot of open sky in the background. But I don't know, I feel like it's really cool when there's a lot of bright area really supporting his silhouette. So we'll keep it this way, but we'll see. We need not a casual looking park. It should look like shit went down. So on that note, I'm gonna drop it here because I'm out of time. Big time. So at least we redefined. I think already, like with all the definition here, this looks just plain better right away. Yeah, I think I finally found the look of this guy, so we'll move on. There won't be such a huge pause between episodes of this anymore, because I'm really into it. I want to paint him, oddly enough, more my way, even though we're following the design suggested by the community. So it's kind of weird, but actually, that's true. Like, I'm gonna paint it the way I want, not the way I imagined it's supposed to be, more of the sterile, weird look of a lab when there's no lab, and in the end it's just all dull and just too casual. It's not supposed to look like that for SCP. You should feel the fear of it in the atmosphere of everything. So, that's the new course on SCP-049. Also, this is not whiskey or anything. I ran out of water, and now I have to drink pure juice. And it's too saturated taste. Usually I mix it with water, but now I have to mix it with ice. And I decided to play Mad Men at the same time. Anyway, I thank you for watching. If you did, I guess you did. If you're here, leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Do things your way. Do wherever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. The new design of a mask reminds me of, I think, an angel from Evangelion looks like this. Does it? Anyway, it's awesome.